Well, it's known as Friday Night Lights, stands filled with fellow classmates and parents cheering on their high school football team. But studies show the football field is becoming less crowded. Some parents are concerned about CTE, that's chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Diseases linked to football players and other athletes with repetitive brain trauma. But is that having an impact on youth football in our area? Are concussion concerns really behind the drop in participation? We wanted to find out.
I broke my left arm in practice. Somebody's helmet went into my wrist area and just broke.
Isaiah Ogby is 10 years old now. He started playing football in kindergarten.
When he came home screaming, I knew it was a broken arm.
His mother, Elise, said that was the moment she decided she didn't want her son playing football anymore.
He's played soccer, he plays basketball, he plays baseball. He hasn't incurred any other injuries in any other sport. Football is the only one.
The Ogbys aren't alone. Across the country, the numbers show participation in youth and high school football is down. But we wanted to know if that was the case in Missouri and Illinois. We pulled the data. In Missouri, there are 4,000 fewer high schoolers who played football this fall compared to 10 years ago. The trend is the same in Illinois. Last year, schools had 6,000 fewer students playing football compared to 10 years before. Many assume the drop in participation comes from fear of injury, specifically concussions, and how they could affect teens later in life.
I think people are much more aware of the risk potentially with concussions, and that is a good thing.
Dr. Brian Mahaffey is a sports medicine specialist. He speaks to parents about their concerns, about their student athletes having long-term injuries from playing sports at a young age.
I do always tell parents of my patients, and when we go talk, you have to understand that probably the most risky thing that a teenager can do is get in a car and drive. A much higher risk of a head injury driving a car. We let our kids drive all the time.
He also says football gets the most attention, but every physical activity, from the football players on the field to the cheerleaders on the sideline, run a risk of concussion.
People always concentrate on football. The rates of concussions are just as high in soccer, hockey, and I tell teenagers and their parents, you can get a concussion walking down the street and tripping and falling.
But he says the changes in the way the game is played and having better trained athletic trainers on the sideline have helped high schools better deal with serious injuries over the past decade.
Our training staff is tremendous in Parkway. We contract out with Mercy Sports Medicine, so we have certified athletic trainers at every practice, at every game. We have doctors at our Friday night football games.
The Parkway School District is one of the largest in the St. Louis area. But district-wide, over the past 5 years, they've seen an 18% drop in students playing football. Bob Button has been the head coach at Parkway North for nearly 20 years. He thinks there are concerns beyond concussions keeping players off the field.
So you have noticed a drop, kids playing football, but you don't necessarily believe it's related to CTE?
Not all of it? No, I don't think all of it at all. I think more has to do with the commitment to playing a high school sport like football where it's become year-round.
These days, players practice in the summer, and official practices for fall sports start at the beginning of August. But Button says the practices of today are much different than 10 or 20 years ago.
I'm not saying it was wrong in the old days. I just think we've gotten more educated. We're smarter to the fact and more aware of the brain and the physical toll that it takes on a kid's body.
Bunton admits the drop in numbers is hurting the program.
This year had a difficult time fielding a freshman team.
Parkway Athletic Director Mike Roth says the district takes precautions for all activities.
We see concussions across the board, football, soccer, we see it in cheerleading, with all the stunting going on. There's a chance for injury with everything we do in high school athletics.
But at least in Parkway, they haven't seen the same drop in participation when it comes to another fall sport with risk of concussion, soccer. Over the same 5-year period, the numbers are practically the same.
This was just
And while he's still a few years away from high school sports, Isaiah's mother says he'll be sticking to baseball and soccer and taking a pass on football.
I'm not going to say that other parents should, not put their kids in football, and, that's the family's decision, but safety-wise, I don't want to say that as a parent I could have prevented something from happening.
If you have questions or concerns about the activities your child is interested in and the danger of concussions,
There's a free seminar taking place in early 2018 by the Brain Injury Association of Missouri. We have information about that event and the association on KMOV.com.